people of the World Wide Webs. It's Cypher Sigma here, yes, and we're on episode 41 of the collection In Depth. So people who are new to this series who've come along this video and are wondering what's going on. This is a mostly weekly set of videos that I do where I go through a shelf or two from my collection. We go alphabetical, so my DVDs, Blu-rays, everything is more or less together. It starts in number, then it goes A, B, C, D, so when you get to T, it's the, which is around about where we are. And that all the way up to Z, which we've still got a few more episodes to go. Then obviously behind me I have anime separate, and I do have animation for the most part that are separate. A few series like Disney and stuff outstanding, because that's in the main collection. But that is how I go. So this is just a series. Obviously there is a playlist for it, so please feel free to go back and visit the other ones if you want to see what I have. Obviously from the beginning of this series up until now, I have bought stuff that will fit into stuff, so it won't necessarily feature everything because I'm always getting new stuff for the collection. But anyway, thanks for listening to that little explanation of the series. Hope you have enjoyed it, and yeah, let's get into it. So here we are getting into these two shelves for this week, or this week's video I should say. So starting from the bottom we have Murder, One Girl, Vinnie Jones. I've never seen it. I think I picked this up cheap or was given to this recently. Maybe it's from Matt or AJ. So I've not seen it. Then we have The Number Station. I love John Cusack. Unfortunately this isn't one of his better films, but you can't always make brilliance all the time. And then we have The Nut Job. I quite like this one. It's kind of a very usual family. Need to get some alcohol, get that label off. Then we have The Nutty Professor. Good old Eddie Murphy back in his day. Hercules, I'm sure people... I don't seem to have the second one, which is funny. Then we have The Object of My Affection, so a very young Paul Rudd there, and obviously Jennifer Aniston, Friends, or both from Friends. Then we have The OC Season 2. I did buy Season 1 and Season 2 for my wife. She's not got round to watching it. I have actually seen this. I did really like this. I did quite like the Anna character, who was the love interest, the one, but unfortunately she left it. Or is that... No, that is not Anna. Anna's not even on the front. Okay. Ignore me then. Then we have the Steelbook edition of Jet Li's The One, a great movie. If you're a heavy rocker and grew up in the late 90s, 2000s, this is right up your street. Then we have Season 1 of The Orville. This was a series that I couldn't get into until I rewatched it all last year on Disney Plus and actually really loved it. I think they only released Season 1 and 2, so that's why I've not gone and completed it. The Other Guys, a very silly movie. Aim for the Bushes, I know people... I didn't really rate this too much, personally. Then we have The Other Sister, Juliette Lewis, Diane Keaton. I think I've seen this, but a long time ago. I always get this confused with another movie and I can't remember what that one is. Then we have The Other Women. So one of the last, I think, Cameron Diaz movies. It was alright. Has a good ending. I would give it that much of a compliment. Then we have The Pacifier. Good old Vin Diesel. I do like Vin Diesel. I do thought it showed his funny side. Then we had The Pelican Brief, a great thriller movie, good old Denzel and Julia Roberts there. Then we have The Pentagon Papers, a David Spade movie, Spader, sorry. Based on true, it's not that great, unfortunately. I think I don't know not enough about the story to quote it. And then obviously we have Perfect Catch, good old Jimmy Fallon before he was a talk show host, and Drew Barrymore. Alright, so let's get it all in before it moves. There you go, that's some good timing. So then we first have good old Dean Cain, The Perfect Husband. This is based off a true story. It was alright, it kind of felt a bit short. There is, I believe, stuff stuff unresolved to this story, which is why it felt a bit flat. The Perfect Score, a great Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson early movie before Captain America and Black Widow were Captain America and Black Widow. Great funny movie. I'd definitely advise to watch it. The Pact, one of the favourite horrors I really like. I really like the twist in this. It was great. I'm not the biggest horror fan. If you are a horror fan and you have seen this, please let me know. Is this a good one in your book? Do you rate it quite high? Let's put this back. Then we have The Pallbearer, so David Schwimmer, Gwyneth Paltrow one, not a great movie, but you have to have these movies to appreciate the really good ones. The Paperboy, again, this is another early film that I watched with Zac Efron, which actually showed he had a good acting prowess. It's not the greatest story in film. It does have a lot of, as you see there, John Cusack in it. A few actors playing roles that you don't expect from them, and I think that is done really well. Passion of the Christ, I'm not religious anyway, but I still think a really good movie. I do like Jim Caviezel, who plays Jesus. Obviously was struck by lightning twice while filming it. The Patriot, Mel Gibson, a great World War movie for the Americans. Obviously don't really know much about the real life event, but still good action movie from Mel. The Peacemaker, quite a good movie I remember from back in the day. Good old George Clooney kind of coming into his own after ER. Then a Dan Bluth movie, so famous of quite a lot of animated movies. The Penguin and the Pebble. Me and my wife really like penguins, so I've watched this without her. It wasn't the greatest movie, unfortunately. It's nice to see Dan Bluth's style, though. I do like the 2D animated style. The Phantom, Billy Zane. Obviously a big comic book fan, so I had to have this in the collection. I've watched this, I think, last year. It was alright. Not the greatest film, but not the worst film I've seen. The Phantom of the Opera, Gerard Butler there as the Phantom. I didn't mind this. Not my go-to as musicals are, but I don't mind it. A big fan of Tenacious D, was a big fan before they were kind of famous and stuff. The Pick of Destiny wasn't the greatest film in my eyes, but there we go. I think it is very much a musical, and I think their first one was better. The Pianists, a great Adrian Brody movie about World War II. Yeah, can't sing enough praise. I was very surprised. Adrian Brody is quite a good movie, quite a good actor. Wrecked, I think he was a really good movie. The Pink Panther, all good except for this lady here, Beyonce, not the greatest of actresses in my eyes. But hey ho. Then we had from Aardman Studios, The Pirates. Not a bad movie, a bit different. Do like the monkey type characters. They're quite funny. The Place Within the Pines, a movie where that main character isn't in it a lot. It's quite a twist and turns for it. It's quite interesting as the story goes on. It's not kind of what you expect from the trailer. The Polar Express, as the sticker is, I've never seen it, unfortunately. It is one I keep meaning to get round to seeing, but have never had the time. The Postman, I really like this kind of era of Kevin Costner movies. After he did Robin Hood, I do so like the underwater one as well, and I can't remember what it's called now. Waterworld, that's it. I really like that one as well, but I quite like that. The Prestige, a great movie, very good twists and turns, played by all involved. Yeah, not much. Prince of Egypt, an alright animated movie. I think this comes near the tail end of the golden era, I would say, the 90s of. This just didn't hold up. I think it was just missing something. The Princess Bride, I only watched this recently a few years ago. It was okay. Diego Montoya, You Killed My Father. I obviously have seen lots of people quote about it because I never watched it as a child. Then we had the remake of the Prisoner series. I really like this. A bit weird in places, I will have to give it that. Quite a good star cast. And maybe it is even better if you've seen the original. Please let me know in the comments if you have. Then we have The Promotion. I don't think I've seen it. I think I bought this at a charity shop, so that's why I do not know. The Proposal, you can't beat a bit of Sandra Bullock there, and obviously good old Ryan Reynolds. They do work well together. Then AJ would like these. The Punisher, well, not the original one. I don't have the Dolph Lundgren one, but I do have the Thomas Jane one. I didn't mind this. I'm not the biggest Punisher fan, and then obviously Warzone. I didn't mind this one either. Unfortunately, obviously the main guy is now dead, which is a bit of a shame. Right, and the first shelf down, so we move on to the second shelf. So obviously I bought this box set of The Purge. Sticker is still on it, so I've not got round to it. I think I have seen the first Purge, but not the second one. It's a series I keep meaning to get into. As I say, horror is a bit lacking in my collection. I do want to widen that. The Pursuit of Happiness, a great Will Smith movie. I know he gets a lot of stick nowadays, but he does do some really good performances. Then we have Jean-Claude Van Damme's The Quest, kind of a Mortal Kombat-esque, people fighting in a tournament, a bit cheesy in places, but it was alright. Not as good as I remember it, but that could be my memory. Then we have The Raid, a great action movie, great idea, very well executed. And then the sequel with a little sleeve cover. I don't think I found the second one as enjoyable as the first one. I think once the novelty's worn off a little bit, it does get a bit tedious. Ramengel, a great Brittany Murphy movie. Again, another talent we lost too early, but she did do some great weird movies a little bit. If you like Japanese culture and that, you'll appreciate that. The Raven, Edgar Allan Poe, obviously John Cusack, had a very good potential. He is very well acted, but the story needs a little bit of work in my needed a bit of work in my eyes. The Rebound, just your stereotypical kind of chick flicky rom-com. Yeah, turn your brain off and enjoy that. The Recruit, Al Pacino, Colin Farrell, a great movie with another good twist. I definitely do like movies like this. Very, very clever how some of these are written and acted. The Replacements, watch this I bought this, but I have not yet. No, I have watched this. Obviously, this is about a team who don't want to play due to certain reasons, and they bring in loads of random people to play the last few games. It is based on a true story, and it actually should get more praise because it is interesting what actually happens to these guys and what they put themselves through. The Resident, Hilary Swank, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, as I say, that back picture gives away a lot, which doesn't really show too much of it. I don't know if maybe I knew more about it than I should have done. It didn't hit quite the scare tactics as me. And then my wife started watching this series, The Residents. That's why I bought it. We like him from The Good Wife. And then you've got The Organiser, and then we go into There's Something About Mary. So get to rewatch it. I thought it was okay back in the day. I wasn't the biggest fan. Obviously, I do like Lee Evans, and I know he does have a bit of a cameo in it. But one to go back to. Obviously, me and my wife like Hugh Grant, and this was kind of one of the last kind of leading roles that he had as the kind of love interest, and I quite liked it. It was quite silly. He let himself be a little bit different, which was nice. Then we got The Ring. Saw this at the cinema, so I bought this rental copy. I didn't mind this movie. Not seen Japanese original or Chinese original. The Ringer, obviously, probably couldn't be made nowadays. Johnny Knoxville being Johnny Knoxville. The River Wild, about a family go kayaking and get kidnapped. Not a bad movie, I thought. Got a good fun kind of family movie, kind of not. The Road, I thought this was a great movie, great twists and turns, and doesn't lead you where you think it would. Viggo Mortensen, great acting. Then we have The Rock, a great 90s action movie with good old Nicolas Cage. Then The Rocker, I really, really rate this. Ram Wilson, I absolutely love this back in the day. I do need to watch it recently. I think it's very silly, but I remember it being really, really funny. Rocky Horror Show, I've seen it twice. not my cup of tea. I like the songs in the beginning, and it just gets a bit boring for me. But each their own. The Romantics, I have not seen it, or is it? Or maybe I have seen it and I didn't think it was that great. I cannot remember, which obviously means it probably was. The Rover, I've seen the trailer for it, and that's why I bought it. Just have never got round to watching it as of yet. Ben Thomas and good old Twilight. The Royal Tenenbaums. Bought this, watch this, very strange. Not really my cup of tea. Or maybe I watched it back in the day and haven't rewatched it. But again, I always think these movies, sometimes you need to give them another rewatch. The beginning of the end for Johnny Depp and obviously his wife, ex-wife, and Amber Heard and that. I thought this was an okay movie, not the greatest. Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Running Man, a great 80s movie. They do not make movies like this. And just, yeah. And then we have Val Kilmer in The Saint, obviously based off, I think, the TV series. This was the 90s movies. I didn't think much to it. It's a little lackluster in my eyes when I last watched it, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. I mean, he has all the different makeup on, which was quite clever. Kind of Mission Impossible before Mission Impossible. The Santa Claus, Tim Allen. I do really rate this as a good Christmas movie. And obviously we follow it with the Santa Claus 2. And then Martin Short joins them for Santa Claus 3. Then we have The Score, a Robert De Niro. I quite like this, kind of a bank robbery-esque one. Thought this was quite good. Again, I haven't watched it for a long time. And Marlon Brando. Did not record it back in the time. I know this is a good one of AJ's, The Secret Life of Walter Smith. I didn't mind this. It was very different. It's not what you expect, which is nice from Ben Stiller. It's nice for him to play outside of his usual roles. And then the final two, we had The Secret Life of Pets. I loved the rock and roll trailer, and obviously my wife is called Mel, and she is, and they obviously have the dog in the corner is called Mel, but it's a boy. She hates it when I wind her up about that. And then obviously Secret Life of Pets 2, not as good, but still didn't mind it. And that's everything for this week's episode. And there we go, that is episode 41. So I hope you enjoyed it. So we're on the last bookcase of this wall for people that don't know. I have another 2 episodes, and then we are down to the final bookcase. And then, yeah, by summertime we should be finished that, and then I'll go into anime and animation, and then we should be done. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed the series. Hope you liked the video. Please let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I've been Cypher Sigma Screen Time. See you next one.